Hi scholars, happy Friday! We made it to the end of the week. Now, today we are going to go over chapters 9 and 10. Reminder, on Monday we're going to have our first Edulastic assessment. So make sure that if you fell a little bit behind on the readings that you're getting caught up over the weekend. All right, so today all you're going to need is your packet, access to the reader. Reminder, you can get the reader electronically. It's attached to this video, or you can go to the Clever page, and I'm going to show you how to do that later in the video, just as a fun reminder. Okay, guys, let's get started. Our objective today for Chapter 9 is I can describe the climate, landforms, and industry of the West Coast region. And I can describe the climate, landforms, and wildlife of Alaska of Chapter 10. So today we're learning about the West Coast and Alaska. All right, so our agenda today is to review Chapter 7 and 8. We have our big question for Chapter 9. I'm going to read Chapter 9 to you, and then you are going to read Chapter 10 on your own at home. And then I'm going to go over student work for the day that's in your packet. And then, of course, ending the day with friendly reminders about student email and additional work that you could be doing at home. So this is what we learned from Chapter 7 and 8. So Chapter 7 was all about the Rocky Mountain region. And we learned that the states of Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Utah make up the Rocky Mountain area. Rocky Mountain region is very mountainous, and it was settled by people mining for precious metals such as gold, silver, copper, iron, ore. Today, tourism is a large part of the region's economy. The Rocky Mountain region is also home to Yellowstone National Park and Old Faithful. And Chapter 8 was all about the Southwest. We learned that states of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada made up the Southwest region. The Southwest is very dry and has a harsh desert climate in some areas. Texas is the second largest state by size and population, and the state's largest industry includes cattle and oil. And the Grand Canyon in Arizona is a massive gorge carved by the Colorado River. Our Chapter 9 big question is, why are the Cascade Mountains important to the climate of the Pacific Northwest? Chapter 9, the West Coast. Exploring the West Coast. After flying over Nevada, we headed west again toward the Pacific Ocean. The part of the United States that borders the Pacific is known as the West Coast. There are 3 states on the West Coast: California, Oregon, and Washington. California is by far the biggest of the 3, covering 2/3 of the coast. It also has more people than any other state in the country. We decided to begin our exploration of the West Coast in California. We first visited the city of Los Angeles, the second largest city in the United States. Flying over the city, we were amazed by its size. It spread out as far as the eye could see in every direction. We learned that large roads called freeways tie the sprawling city together. Los Angeles is so spread out that people sometimes spend hours every day in their cars, driving from home to work and back again. Because almost everyone has a car and there are too many cars on the road and traffic gets jammed. Americans call the times that they have to drive to work in the morning and back home at night rush hour. The sprawling city of Los Angeles is home of many different backgrounds. For example, there are European Americans, Asian American, African Americans, and Hispanic Americans, to name a few. As you wander around LA, as the people who live there call it, you hear not only English and Spanish, but also other languages such as Japanese and Korean. Los Angeles is famous for its beautiful sandy beaches. On summer days, the beaches are packed with people who have come there to enjoy themselves. While exploring, we saw some people surfing. The surfers paddled out into the water with long boards. The city of Los Angeles is also famous for the world's capital of the movie business. Thousands of movies have been made here. As you know, Admiral, Earthlings are very fond of sitting in dark rooms where they look at flickering pictures they call movies. Los Angeles in the southern part of California. Los Angeles is in the southern part of California. The southern part of California, like the Southwest, does not receive a large amount of rain. People there have developed new technology to solve water shortage problems. California now has large seawater desalination plants that can transform seawater into fresh water. Flying north to explore the rest of the state, we saw some very different landscapes. To the north, the California coast becomes rocky instead of sandy. Tall cliffs plunge down into the ocean and huge waves explode against the rocks. Mountains, valleys, and steep hills. Flying inland from the coast, we crossed a range of mountains. Then we came to a long valley that stretches all the way down to the center of the state. When we flew over the low valley, we saw that it was covered with farms. Later we learned that this was one of the most important food-growing regions in the United States. Flying further east, we came to a range of tall mountains, which the map calls the Sierra Nevada. According to the map, the tallest mountain range is Mount Whitney. Later, we learned that this is the tallest mountain in the United States outside of Alaska. As beautiful as the mountains were, we were eager to see California's other famous city, San Francisco. So we returned our ship back toward the coast. San Francisco is very different from Los Angeles. San Francisco is full of new skyscrapers as well as old houses. Its parks are lush green, displaying interesting trees and flowers collected from all over Earth. The city sits beside a beautiful bay. Spanning across this area of water is the famous Golden Gate Bridge. The bridge's two towers are 70 stories tall, and they are connected to the bridge by the great swooping cables. Much of San Francisco is built on steep hills. At the end of each day's exploration, we are tired and aching from all the climbing up and down. We learned that more than 100 years ago, someone felt sorry for the horses that they had to haul heavy wagons up the steep hills. He felt so sorry for them that he invented a new way to haul things in San Francisco. It was kind of a little train called a cable car that was pulled along by an iron rope set in the ground. Today, people come from all over the world to ride in cable cars up San Francisco's steep hills. After leaving San Francisco, we flew north to explore the states of Oregon and Washington, which made up of an area called the Pacific Northwest. From the air, we noticed a long mountain range that runs through both states from the north to the south. The map said that these were the Cascade Mountains. Later, we found out that these mountains were very important to the climate of the region. When wind blows from the Pacific Ocean, they picked up moisture from the sea. When the air rises to cross the mountains, it cools off because cold air holds less moisture than warm air. The moisture falls as snow or rain, lots of rain. The western part of Oregon and Washington is one of the most rainiest areas in the United States. We were amazed by how wet the area was. It drizzled almost the whole time we were there. We were also surprised at how green it was. All that rain has helped to give life to the great forest full of towering trees. Many people in this region make their living by logging, cutting down trees to use for building or to make products like paper. But many of these trees are protected from loggers. Instead, they are set aside in national parks for people to enjoy. To finish our tour of the West Coast, we flew to Seattle, Washington, which is the biggest city in the Pacific Northwest. The most famous building in Seattle is known as the Space Needle. It is a tower with a funny-looking round top that looks like a toy that Americans call a yo-yo. The tower is called the Space Needle because the top is supposed to look like a spaceship that aliens might use to visit Earth. Of course, it looks nothing like a real spaceship, but we all had a good laugh over that. Earthlings can be so funny. Okay, now that we read chapter 9, it's your job to read chapter 10. Chapter 10 is covering Alaska and Hawaii. Remember, these are the two territories that are not connected to our great country, but are still part of the United States. Please make sure that you're looking for the reader attached to the video, or you can go to the Clever page. Once you're done with chapter 10, you're going to look at our student work page for the day. And today you're going to notice that we are doing a crossword puzzle. I know how much you guys enjoy crossword puzzles, so we are going to be working on this one today. When you're finished with your crossword puzzle, you're just going to take a picture of the completed crossword with your name. You don't have to send me the other page, just this one little snapshot will do. And when you're finished with your crossword, of course, don't forget to review your student checklist in your remote learning packet. Make sure you're completing math and ELA, and don't forget to keep working on iReady and also Zern. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have a fabulous weekend and have a great day. See you Monday.